Hello students, we are going to run a very simple program in TASM environment. It's an assembly program where we are going to write assembly program to add two 8-bit numbers, and we'll be like declaring the numbers, input numbers in assembler. We will be not prompting user to enter inputs, and then there would be no results available on the screen. So the program complexity is fairly simple. Okay, it's fairly small. So this is the structure of program, whereas this would be counted as an uh, all the comment section. This is a comment section because I have used semicolon there. So semicolon is used for a comment. So you have to declare dot model small. So this will be deciding the uh, segment size for your program. Like you have different types like dot model small, tiny, medium. So that will decide the size of this data segment, code segment, stack segment. So small is the syntax for 64K. So same way here, this section you will be you will be like deciding uh, the variables, different variables you are going to use, dot data, and there is a variable here in this section. You are going to define variables which are going to take a memory location, and then dot code start. This is the part for data segment initialization, and this is something I'm not want to don't want to stress upon this physical address and logical address. But yeah, I'll tell you that all everything okay is can be located using a 20-bit address, but as you know, 8086 contains 16-bit address only. So its 16-bit address is converted into a 20-bit address by this formula, where data segment holds upper four nibbles, and so upper four nibbles are hold in 16-bit address. When you multiply with 10h, they will become upper four nibble. Lower four nibble will become upper four nibbles, and we add 16-bit offset address of the data so that we get a 20-bit address. So that's the way to calculate a physical address. And then finally, data and segment initialization. This is the end part where you in this portion, what you do is you uh, actually exit to DOS command using this service number 4ch and interrupt command. Okay, so interrupt 21h is used for different input output operation. 4ch is the service number for exiting to DOS. Okay, so in between these, I'm going to write my code. Okay, so let's start. So first I need to define a variable. So I can define a variable. Let me just delete this. Yep. So let me just, these variables are actually these two number one, and then you have syntax to define number. So 8-bit number. So there is a memory location. So DB is 8-bit memory location. So when it is a byte location, that's why DB. So if I define as a word, it would be a word location, but I'm taking as a byte location. So the memory location is a byte location, uh, which will have only 1 byte location. Okay, the size would be 1 byte location only. So if I take DW, it will become 2 byte location. So number one, let's say I define as 770H. I can define number two, DB 80H. I can also have sum. For that, I can give the square question mark, and for carry, I can just store it as a 00H. So by default, my carry would be 0. And if suppose carry generated, I will take care of that. Okay. So I can have first instruction, I can take my number into AL. Okay, after that, I can directly add my first number, which is in AL, with my number 2. Okay, once I do that, so depending on the result, I will generate carry or not. So if I generate carry, I will store 1 in that memory location, which is pointed by carry. So move carry 01H. Otherwise, I have already 00. So so that will have 00. So whenever I add two 8-bit number, okay, I get the result maximum as 9-bit. Okay, so when I add two 8-bit number, the result is the maximum is 9-bit. It won't go beyond 9-bit. So I hope you understand this. So that 9th bit will be stored at one memory location, and that would be definitely the number would be 01H. Okay, because that carry, the 1 bit produced will become 01. Okay, so that's one extra number. Okay, so for that I will require an byte location. So you can't say that it's just a carry generated, use a 1 bit. So there is no such facility. Okay, the flag would be after doing, if carry is generated, the flag register will become 1 in flag register, status word register. But now you have to move that number into memory location. Okay, so that should occupy 1 byte. Okay, so that's a 1 byte memory location. So when you add two 8-bit numbers, okay, the maximum space it will have, it will cover is 2 bytes. Okay, 2 bytes, 1 byte for the result and 1 byte to store carry. So you cannot say to store just a carry I will require only 1 bit. Okay, so there is no such facility in memory location. Even to store 1 bit you will require a byte. So jump, if no carry, you will skip, and you will skip to, so this is the way of defining the labels. So your program control will skip this part and will jump to this location, where this memory location, the code segment. So these are code which are written in code segment. Okay, and every line have a definite address. So address depends on their size. Suppose let's see this occupy 3 bytes. So the next instruction would be 3 byte ahead. Okay, if suppose this is a 4 byte. Okay, so this instruction would be 4 byte. Next instruction would be 4 byte ahead. So you understand that. Okay, so how much memory they specify, how much memory they occupy in your memory, that depends on their individual size. Okay, so when you provide this label, you actually provide the address of this line, and this instruction actually uh, loads instruction pointer with this address. So that instruction pointer always, the instruction pointer will always have an address of next instruction. Okay, but in this case the next address is this. So it should not be loaded with the next address. Okay, when this condition is true, jump if no carry, it should be IP instruction pointer should be loaded with this address. Okay, that's why the label is provided. The job of label is to load IP at the proper place. So next thing is move. So I know result is already in AL. I should move carry into sum. Move AL into sum. Okay, and I think my code is already complete. So carry will have either 00. If carry is generated, it will have 01, and everything at the place, and this code ends here. Okay, so this is a very small simple code. What I can do is I can save this and run for you, and should go into debug mode. So I'll just click on the TASM view, my DOS box DOS VirtualBox will open up. And so let me just, I'm just waiting for it to get loaded. Yeah, it's loaded. Okay, so the first command I will type edit to open the editor window. So that was the file name. So you can see the same program which was written on Notepad is here. Okay, so it's the same program because I have opened the text editor. I will save this. It's already saved. So I'll just save it and I will run the tasm command. So let me just tell you what I'm talking about. I will go again in edit mode. You can see tasm file name is to uh, actually run the ASM file. Okay, so I will run that ASM files and we'll see if there is an error or not. Okay, so file exit. So yeah, tasm ASM 5.asm. Okay, so this will give me if there is an error. So there is no error. There is a warning message. No, there is no warning message, no error. Okay, after that I will link this. I link this. So this would generate all object code. Okay, so there is a warning, no stack, because I have not defined stack segment. So a dot stack, with the dot stack I can define stack segment, but I have not defined. I will get warning, so we can ignore it, not a problem. Next thing is going in debug mode. Going in debug mode. So this will open the Pandora box. So this is my debug mode, and here you can see that the code looks very different here. Okay, and this is very important. Okay, you must understand. So move ax comma @data. So @data is actually giving an address in ax, so that gives the data address. Okay, so that gives where the data is stored, that this is an offset address. This will go into data segment. Okay, you cannot directly transfer here, so it go to a ds via, so it goes via ax, then ax go into ds. You cannot directly write 48AE into ax. Okay, so when I execute this instruction, I will load ds with this address and then move al comma num. Okay, so you can see instead of num here it is 00. So what does it mean? So num is actually allocated with some memory address. So that memory address is allocated by assembler. Okay, so you don't have that headache of assigning number to any address to your data. So that number one data. Okay, so their address is allocated by assembler only. Okay, so when you define that variable, assembler actually assigns the address to number. So you need not to actually look for the addresses field. Okay, that's a good thing assembler does for you. So you just specify assembler to do that, and assembler does it. Same way, add al number 2. Number 2's address is 00b. So if suppose number 1 would have been an actually a byte location, that's why would have been an word location, then it would have occupied a and b location both. Okay, but it's just a byte location. It is syntax is db, that's why it is only having one location a, whereas the number 2 is having second location b. Okay, so if you define them as data word, the number will occupy a and b both. The lower byte will have 00A and higher byte, okay, a higher byte will go into 00B. Okay, so let me just run with F7. So when I do move, so AX is loaded with 48AE. Okay, when I do this, DS is loaded with 48AE. So when I do F7 again, my AL would be loaded. The lower AL, lowered part where A is written, that would be loaded with the number 1. Number 1, if you can remember, I think it was 70. Yeah, 70 is loaded here. You can see the top portion. You can see the 70 is loaded in AL. Okay, the lower byte of AX is AL. And again, I will add number B which is in 00B. Okay, so you can see what is in 0A. So when I go into dump file, you can actually see that your number are stored here. Can you see that? So this is 8, this is 9, this is A, and this is B. So you can see A is already having 70. Okay, and B is already having 80. Okay, so this is B. So B is having 80, you can see here. Okay, so when I just run the program, okay, after that assembler have assigned variable num1 and num2 here. Already assembler have assigned this addresses, which is A and P. You can see that. Okay, so again we'll go function F7. So after adding, if there is a carry generated, so there is no carry generated because 70 plus 80, okay, will not go beyond 256 or beyond FF. So your result is still stored in its F0. So it is not going beyond FF. So there is no carry generated, okay, after addition. But yeah, there is sign flag generated. Okay, sign flag is generated and there is a parity flag. Now sign flag generated, so don't think that it is a negative number. Why? Because uh, your number is 127. This number is greater than 127. Okay, so when you add 7 and 20, 7 and 1780, that's why S flag has become 1, because the MSB has become 1. That's why it is showing S equal to 1, but it is not a negative number. People say that S is equal, sign flag is 1, that's why it is a negative number, but it is not. It has yet not crossed the 255 limit, and the MSP became 1. That's why you are getting a notion of that the number is negative, but number is still positive, because I am considering range of positive number as FF. Function F7, parity is 1. Okay, so function, again I will do F7. So yeah, it's running. So at this location, I have actually transferred. So this portion, okay, jump if not carry. After that, you had that instruction. Can you guess that instruction? What was that? After jump if no carry. Okay, so that instruction was, okay, just let me tell you what was that instruction. Edit. Yeah, you can see that after jump if no carry, you have this move carry 01H. Okay, means you are moving carry and sum. So at this location, okay, which is pointed by carry, you are locating, you are actually transferring 01. So yeah, we'll exit and we'll go again in that mode, td sm5. Let's run again. Function F7 AX f that number, DS is loaded with the segment address, AL is loaded with the 70, and AL is added with number 2. At this point, it will check whether there is a carry. So there is no carry. So jump if not bit. So there is no carry. So it will directly go to, it will skip the carry portion part, and it will transfer AL, the value of AL, into 00C. So 00C is the location where you will get your final sum. Okay, so 00C. So let's see whether 00C is having that sum or not. Okay, so file, oh sorry, it's not file, it's dump. Okay, I should go into dump and investigate. Okay, 8, 9, A, B, C. So you can see at C, F0 is available. Before, if you see this, before add instruction, this was 0. Okay, only after add instruction, not only after add instruction, not after add instruction, but after this transfer only. Okay, when this move sum comma AL happens, then here you get F0. Okay, so this F0 is available here, Okay, it's at the memory location also, it is there into AL also. Okay, and then after that I will do again function F7. It will say that, so it will transfer AH into 4C, and after that it will say terminated exit code 240. Okay, so it will be get terminated. It will go to the, yeah, program already terminated. So I can reload it. I have an option of reloading it, and program will start right from beginning again. Okay, so it is very important. If you write that code move H4C interrupt 21H. Okay, I hope now you must have understood this. Okay, so your job is actually look at dump before starting the program. Okay, Alt F5. You can just look at, okay, look at, just wait, view. Okay, I'm not able to switch over to different functions, so I will reload it. TASM, sorry, TD ASM 5. So I will just run it for you again. So when you see this view and dump, you will find that your numbers are not there. Okay, your numbers are not there. Okay, so what you can do is uh, I'll go here. I will write TASM. Okay, and I will do T-link again. I will do TD. So this will set the field, and I can see that in the dump, you can see that at A and B whether your numbers are available or not. So DS8, 9, A, B. So my memory locations 48 AE, and this is 000. So let's run it. Let's run it. Function F7 view dump function F7 view variable, sorry, view dump. So yeah, once I reach at this point, you will see that the 70 and 80 are available here. Okay, 70 number and number 2, and your C portion, okay, which should contain your sum, okay, is actually 00. Okay, it's not there. Okay, so there is nothing in C location. So this is 8, this is 9, A, B, C. Your C is empty. Okay, I'll again run. So this will now contain at this point, okay, I will have 70 in AL, and I will do function F7. This will get added F0, 70 plus 80 will give you F0. There is no carry, so I will skip this, and I will move the AL data into C. So AL data into C. So before running this instruction, you just check. Okay, before running this instruction dump mein, your C0 is empty. Okay, your 00C is empty. Okay, this location is empty. Okay, let's run function F7. Can you see? Have you seen it updated? Okay, so you can see updated this. So yeah, okay, so we can run it again, and now I will run it again, and dump file is open, and you can see uh, whatever will happen, you can see in the dump. So the memory location, see, it has got updated. Okay, so that's it. So my job was to just show how debug mode actual functions, actually how a programmer can use debug mode. And that's it for this lab. Thank you.